Right, this is where it all goes a bit shaky cam because I'm having to hold it with my hand while I show you this. But I thought we'd take a look at the battle book from the Warhammer Fantasy, I believe it's the 4th edition, isn't it? The 4th edition box there. You saw this in the last video, but I thought it deserved a little bit more of a bit more time to kind of look at this, because I think it's an absolutely brilliant little book. It was almost like a codex, but for everyone. Circa 1997. So there you go, look at that. Brilliant. Oh, 1996 it says in there, but I'm sure it didn't come out in 96. Or did it? Maybe it did. So yeah, there's that. Nice picture of the lizardmen skinks there. You can see they were quite prominent here because obviously it was their box set. So you've got the introduction to the Warhammer world. You've got some Saurus warriors there. A nice battle going on here. Oh look, it's the Chaos Dwarfs. You don't see those much, do you? Against a nice, what appears to be orcs and goblins. No, Skaven army. Sorry. Skaven army there. You've got Orion, the Wood Elf King. He looks very different now. That old sculpt is... it's quite embarrassing looking back at it, actually. It was quite good at the time. I loved it when I was a kid. But the new one is absolutely fantastic, and I hope to get hold of the new one soon as well. So, yeah. You can see the Perrys there. Michael and Alan looking at their gorgeous battlefield. The Warhammer Army. So, yeah. There's a nice high elf army there. You have to choose what army you want, so you've got a little bit, there's the orcs and goblins, how they looked at the time. You've got the Undead Army, because obviously it was just called Undead back then. You didn't have this Tomb Kings and Vampire Counts business. Oh no, just Undead. And there's a High Elf. The Warhammer Army series, all about the army books, and the model ranges. So there's a nice little picture there showing you some of the blister packs. One of the box sets, some of the paints, the old paint pots there. Okay, so there's another nice picture. High Elves versus, what is that, Dark Elves. Very cool. Some retro boxes. And a little bit trying to plug the White Dwarf. I used to love this picture as well. Used to get that on the front cover of the White Dwarf in the top corner. And I thought that was brilliant. They really had kind of a sense of humour back then. Something I'd love to see White Dwarf and Games Workshop kind of regain, really, a sense of taking it not quite so seriously all the time. The Tabletop Battlefield. So yeah, that's what a lot of people's battlefields generally look like early on. Then you've got tips on how to make your own, so you're getting a big board, reinforcing it and flocking it. And how to make your scenery as well. Trees, how to make woods, how to make fences. This is all stuff these days they'd love to sell you. When it does often look better if you buy theirs, but you don't always want to, do you? So there you go, how to spray paint your models. Is he doing that indoors? So yeah, section on painting again. So there you go, bronzed flesh, flesh wash, and painting red. Get some grey and brown. There you go. And the silver. And then it had how to base them with flock and sand, which is awesome. The shading and highlighting chart. Okay. Modelling. Your trusty yellow pliers. A nice bit on making your own standards, because you didn't really have the plastic moulded ones back then. It was very much a case of drawing your own, cutting them out. A building assembly section on Orion. He was a bit of a nightmare actually. What you need to play. So you'll have your templates, your hills, your scenery, your dice. There's a copy of the Warhammer roster sheet that you can photocopy, they say there. Permission is granted to photocopy this sheet for personal use only. I think I'll be using that. Starting a game. So here you go, look, there's some scenarios. Some of these probably still be quite familiar. Quite a lot of them. I used to like that one, The Last Stand. Defenders in the middle, attackers going from all sides. That was always fun. Especially when you had them on a hill in the middle. You got the treasure hunt. Tournament battles. Setting limits. Scenery, so you got the different kind of rules for scenery. You got deep rivers and lakes. Walls and hedges, houses and tower rules for villages. Collecting an army. There's victory conditions. There's your victory points chart. Some sample roster sheets, so you can see how it would have looked back then. There you'd be a general, 9 Saurus, 15 Skinks, 14 Skinks, 5 Cold One Riders and a Skink Champion Cold One. So there you go. Ooh. And you can see the Skinks may skirmish. I wonder, is skirmishing kind of enforced these days? I'm not sure. How to make your own movement trays. And this section is the bestiary. This was a cool little bit then. So you got the Warhammer world, a little map of it as it stood back then. Gorgeous artwork, that looks like the Warhammer Quest artwork to me. A fun little picture of a dwarf. Aha, a world map. So again, you've just got where the Tomb Kings are from is just Araby. And there's Land of the Dead. But not a lot going on there at the moment. And then a little bit about each army. So you've got the Bretonians, where they're from. You've got some kind of sample stats there. In fact, was that all the stats at the time? It's not far off it. Human champion, hero, lord, wizard champion. Ah, okay, that's the leaders basically, isn't it? A nice little kind of showcase of the miniatures. The Empire. So you got your map, your leaders, showcase. The Lizardmen. Lovely artwork. Lustria. Some of that. The Orcs and Goblins. Again, another great picture. Yeah, Goblins, showcase. High Elves. Map. Dark Elves. The map. The pictures. Dwarfs. The map. The pictures. Chaos. All in one. Wood Elves. Yes, there we go. Athel Lauren. The Forest of Lauren. It's great pictures. The Undead. Because it is just the Undead there. The Land of the Dead. That was a typical Undead Army at the time. Some of the units might be familiar, but you're certainly not going to see any Necrosphinx around here. It's mainly vampires and zombies. Chaos Dwarfs, back when they were still officially kind of recognised and it wasn't just a Forge World thing. So the Empire of the Chaos Dwarfs. And some lovely pictures. Skaven. Very cool. Monsters. So you got Giants, the old Giant model. The Wild Riders. Well, that's the Elf Steeds there. What else? We've got Great Eagles, Griffins, Hippogriffs, Halflings, Hydras, Ogres, Manticores, Trolls, Unicorns, Wyverns. The Bestiary Summary, so you can see what all these stats were for all these creatures here. Straight in the box. Campaigns, how to run a multiplayer campaign. Spies, territory charts, multiplayer battles, running a campaign. Elite troops and veteran characters. And there you go. It's the Perrys again on their table. Look at that table. Fantastic. And again, wonderful, wonderful little models. And there you go. Just like on the back of White Dwarf, you have a little battle scene there. this is the Dwarfs against the Undead. So there's your skeleton chariots there. Looks like some carrion. So, yeah, there are still kind of resemblances to the modern Tomb Kings and Undead armies, but definitely a thing of their own back then. So there you go, that is the Battle Book. A fascinating read, and I can't wait to kind of sit down with it and have a little look.